magnets, right? In class a little bit? Okay, so this looks familiar, right? A North Pole and a South Pole and all that. And then, so the magnet has these lines around it. What are those called again?
Magnetic field.
Magnetic fields, sometimes they're called lines of force and that kind of thing. So you played with magnets a little, right? Has your teacher passed around some magnets? Yes? That's right. North and north repel, south and south repel. What about south and north?
They attract.
Attract. So south and north attract. What about north and south? Oh, Priya. Attract. Okay, so unlike poles attract and like poles repel all the time. So what are magnets used in? Are they just for cool class demos?
No. They're used for science.
For what's that?
For science.
For science, yes?
For holding things.
For holding things, right. So how do you hold your papers to your refrigerator at home while you're hundreds? Yes?
You put a magnet on it and it'll stay there.
Okay, well all these are magnets. They just sit around and don't do anything, right? Well that's no fun. We don't need magnets, forget them. Okay, they can just all go away and we can live our lives just as normal, right?
No, we can.
Right, okay, so I'm going to hopefully show you some cool things today. First of all, as you get older, the toys just get better and better and better. So I have a couple of magnetic toys here that are pretty simple, but
Oh, I have one of
you have some of these? So these are little magnets that the idea is you throw them in the air and they attract, and then they bounce off each other, and they just make a neat little sound. So that's a cool toy. That's pretty neat. Okay.
You could break them in half and then throw in the
Yeah, you could do that, but these aren't meant to break in half. And I don't know how they make these. I saw these in the supermarket for a couple of bucks, and I just couldn't resist blowing my allowance on them. Yeah, Priya? Can you keep those? They hang up in your workshop. You can take them when I'm not looking. Okay, so that's one toy. And then here's another toy that is a whole bunch of little ball-shaped magnets. Has anyone seen these? You've seen these. They're called Bucky balls. And this, oh my goodness, you can stretch these things out and pull them apart.
They're like jewelry.
Yeah, it is like jewelry. I mean, look at that. How cool is that? These, you know what these are good for?
What?
If you're really, really bored and you have nothing to do, you can just pick these up and squeeze them around for hours.
And make
If I pass this around, can everyone promise to just look at it for a couple minutes? And the most important thing is promise not to take any of these from me? Okay, thanks. So just pull around a little bit. Okay, and then for like a couple of seconds and then pass it on. Please don't take any of those, and I'll know because it forms a perfect cube. If it doesn't form a perfect cube, I have to come in and look for the other one again. So that's my other toy. And let's see, so refrigerator magnets are kind of cool. I'll tell you one thing that does have a pretty strong permanent magnet in it. So a magnet that always stays the same. Yeah, don't drop those, just pull them apart and put them back together. A microwave oven. Has anyone ever taken apart a microwave oven?
Yeah.
Really? Like taking it apart? Taking the screws off the back and look at the inside?
Really?
Okay.
Has done it because someone.
You did?
The refrigerator oven is sometimes not working.
Yeah, so what I do with my microwaves is I take them apart and there's a thing in there called a magnetron tube. And it has two really strong magnets in it. And I like to get these out and play with them. By the way, it's not safe to do that, to open up a microwave oven. But if you have a parent that does that stuff, you can get these magnets out of them. So now a magnetron tube, electricity goes in and microwaves come out. And microwaves are what heat up your food. Why do you think anyone went through that trouble to invent a magnetron tube? Do you think they just wanted a faster way to heat up their coffee in the morning? No.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, that's true. That was used for radar, to detect where airplanes were flying. So they invented this tube to detect where planes were flying in the air. And then they said, well, gee, I can heat up my dinner with it too. So two uses for one great little device. So I made myself a new little toy.
Whoa.
So I got really, really lucky that I had this plastic pipe around. And if I put these north to north, and slide these on this pipe, I get a little bouncy. Okay, so this is floating in the air. So, you know,
Like in the
you guys are second graders, I'm 37 years old, and I think that's amazing. What's that?
My dad is almost 37.
37? Wow, we're the same age. Maybe we have the same birthday. But look at that, there's no,
Younger than my dad.
what's that?
You're 1 year older than my dad.
Oh, wow.
My dad is
I'm sure he's
8
plenty
inches
smart.
younger.
But forget about ages, look at this. If I hold these guys together and let it go, it just bounces. Is that pretty wild? Yeah.
So something south might be together with the north.
That's right. And how do I know which is which? What do I need to find out what's which? I can switch it, but how do I know which is which? Yes, Priya? Oh, you didn't? Okay, well, it's coming around. Okay. Who has not played with that tiny magnet ball thing? Okay, so it's making its way to the front of the room. Everyone's passing it back and forth nicely. Okay, so what do I need to tell if this is north and north or south and south? What's a big magnet where I know what's north and I know what's south? A really big magnet. The Earth, exactly.
Huge magnet.
So you can hang this magnet from a string, and the south side of this magnet, now I forget which is which, whether the north pole of the Earth, I think that actually is a magnet south pole, is that
Yes,
right?
yes.
So the north pole of a magnet, if I hang this, will point to the north pole. So that's the biggest magnet. What's a little magnet that I can use to tell that?
One of those ball kinds.
One of those balls, but that doesn't have north and south painted on it.
Also,
Lodestone. A lodestone may be one that I've held up and measured with a compass. Okay, so a compass
Have
is
you
a
seen
little
a
magnet
compass?
that has north and south painted on
Yeah,
it.
they saw a compass.
Okay, great. So I got my bouncy magnets here, and that's all good. So what about this? If I take this magnet, can I turn it off?
no.
Why not?
It has no switch in it, and it can only be switched without a switch. It can go forward.
But you can't turn it off. It's always there. Okay. Wouldn't it be neat if I could turn one on and off? Couldn't I do some neat stuff with that? Okay, so let's look at a magnet we can turn on and off. And some of you may have seen my little demonstration from last year. And